sleep that episode, but getting good. I'm Zach. This is Peter. We're in Bali. Island of New Zealand. See out that direction by the island. I reckon the middle's better. Definitely. Jeez. Here we got it. You bit my face. Just a little kid watching the Discovery Channel. What a beauty. So it seems to be time to be moving on from the Land Cruiser. We're going off for our last drive in her today before I drop her off at the shipping yard. And then, well, it's time for something new. But I don't know just what yet. I'm excited to find out. Who knows what weird contraption I'll wind up dragging home.
Cold beer. This is my buddies always welcome here. When I get home.
Look at that, it's a monitor. Gotta go get it. This. So we've got ourselves a big goanna that ran off the road. I think it's a yellow spotted and a big one. One of the biggest I've seen. We caught one bigger one, but it was near death out by Winton once. So this will be a really cool find. He scurried down inside this drainage area over here. So we've got to try to scare him out and then grab a hold of him. There he is. I think he's barely out of arm's reach. Damn. Probably can't see him anyway. Don't have a light on me.
Well, now feels like as good a time as ever for some shameless self-promotion and to show you guys what one of these should look like up close. Here is one of my earlier posts on Instagram of a yellow spotted or Argus monitor that we found one night out flipping by the rainforest. I'm extending my tripod that I grabbed from the car a moment ago for some extra reach. Because I've got to get this bugger out of here.
I'm gonna move off the road real quick. So in case somebody shows up, I'm not in the way.
Things may look pretty good in frame, but don't kid yourself. This is a set, and just like most sets, you look outside of where you're supposed to, and everything's pretty cluttered.
I should have 2 people for this.
Come on, Zach. You can get in there.
Okay, the tripod's not working. It's time to find a longer stick, or a stick to attach to it. Okay, I've grabbed a longer stick.
Just a little deeper. You can see him right there at the other end as he begins to make his way out, and then you can see the light hit his whole body. I didn't have time to set up or grab the GoPro for this, but you can hear in the background that I'm just straight legging it trying to grab this guy, because he is off.
I wound up chasing this guy in a full tilt run, but wound up missing him. I'm way out of shape. Weird thing is, the only place I really feel it is a really bad sore throat from breathing so hard. But that was a full tilt sprint for a while behind that goanna. I think it was a yellow spotted monitor. Sucks they got away. He was a big boy and pretty cool. Well, I guess there's always next time. So here we've got my good old pink Land Cruiser. And well, it's about time to say goodbye. She's been a good vehicle the time that I've had her. It fulfilled a dream of mine of having a 70 series Land Cruiser, and to have that vehicle in Australia, no less, has been fantastic. The 79 series, one of the earlier ones with the straight six and the turbo. They're highly sought after and hard to get, and I had the pleasure of having one for a bit. But this is my last day with her. I'm selling her on to her next owner, and we're about to get something new for our adventures. Hopefully something that will suit what I do a little bit better. Something with some more cargo room, a little more comfort on long hauls, maybe better audio qualities for recording, and maybe the ability to sleep in it with some AC would be nice. But don't let me mislead you. I'm just as likely to go buy something else badass and fun as something sensible. But regardless, I have accepted an offer, and she's about to go. So you know what that means. One last tune. Let's do it. Well, as fun as it's been, I think I've spent more than enough days suffering by the hands of ye olde cruiser. So it's time to move on. But to what? An SUV seems like a pretty compelling and obvious choice. But which one would work? You could go to a Troopy, another Land Cruiser, but with the back end covered. It's still a 70 series. And they came from old military use. Now they're produced Troopies, and a lot of them have sidewards facing seating, where you can sit a lot of people, as well as still having good space for storage and sleeping. So that's pretty good, but it doesn't solve the comfort issue too much. It only solves an issue of carrying extra people and being able to sleep in it if you want to run it for AC. So that's an option, and it would look very good for making videos. It would be almost a character in itself, as most of those classic four-wheel drives are. But I don't know. I'm tempted to go toward it, and I had a guy that was wanting to trade me, so I may go that route. You've also got the Nissan Patrol, which is a very good option. You can get them pretty cheap. They make good power, standard intercooler with their turbo, and they're just comfortable inside, much more luxurious, much more creature comforts. But they don't have too much street cred to them, and they aren't that cool or appealing or good on camera. Though they do have a really big following, and the right ones do have plenty of street cred, but they're not that properly badass. Then you could look at maybe a Defender, which, leaning towards strongly as well, they're awesome. They're the old school, tried and true, take you around safari vehicle. It would definitely play the part very, very well in video, and be pretty cool to have. And as a car guy, I would love the opportunity to own one for once in my life. But then you think, how comfortable are you really gonna be in that? But I am pretty keen on one. Pretty good chance on winding up with one of them. But there are issues of elbow room in them. They've probably seen hard lives, and they're not really gonna be that comfortable. And you wind up paying a huge premium for a vehicle that's so sparse, which winds up being the case with a lot of these things, like with the 70 series as well. So, what do you take? And there are other SUV options too, but most of the others are too far out for me to really think about. Though I have been looking into a Holden Suburban. It's a Chevy with a badge job, but that'd be cool, especially here in Australia, because it would dwarf other vehicles and just look amazing. So I could look into that. And that V8 power, baby. And then you've also obviously got the 80 series. I should have mentioned. That gets a lot of people going, but it still doesn't really speak to people the proper way. Like, if we're going for a Land Cruiser, I want the 70 series well here in Australia. Or really anywhere for that matter. I'm used to those other types of Land Cruisers I associate with the really fixed up ones just for rich people to drive on the pavement of America. So for adventure, I tend to lean toward a proper tough adventure vehicle, even if it's not as comfortable. So then we can look over toward, pickup trucks, or utes, as they call them here. And Australia has quite a wide variety of them, with a lot of manufacturers in the game, more so than the States, which It's weird because the States is really the king of the pickup game. But you've got the chicken tax to get into there for why there's not a lot of foreign competition in that market, as well as other reasons that I can see from personal observations here, as well as emission reasons and things. But that's not what we're getting into. What we're getting into are the options here, which are quite plentiful in the different companies that are available making them, with some notable exceptions of good old-time favorites that I'm used to from the States and that many of you watching probably are. You can't within reason get any of the fleet-side Ford pickups, so any of the F-Series trucks, F-150 or F-250 or any of those things. They're all prohibitively expensive here. And then like Silverados are almost unheard of here as well. Like you'll see both of them, but they're the thing that the rich person on top of the business fleet or something owns, paying a lot of money for. Some stuff here's smaller. So then you can go, they have huge varieties, everything from Isuzu, Nissan, to Mazda. There's definitely not a shortage of players in the Ute game around here. I mean, start with Isuzu. That's something we haven't seen in the States for a good long while, but they're still alive and well here. Even making a truck that by all accounts is fairly good. Not my taste though. Then you've also got Mitsubishi still in the game here. You've got Land Cruiser, obviously. You can get a Land Rover Defender and a pickup variant, which is just bad to the bone. Or even Nissan. And of course, Toyota, Ford, and Chevrolet. Oh, I mean, hold on. They're completely different emblems on the car. And then you've even got oddballs, like Mercedes, Volkswagen, LDV, and Great Wall. The way to hide your company name, China, that nobody wants them. It's obvious where they're from. They lose value instantly, and from what I can tell, they don't hold up that well. Though, surprisingly enough, there are some halfway competent Chinese brands actually selling here in Australia. Like LDV, they're from China, and they have a decent fit and finish, and not the worst reliability from what I can tell. And some of them even use Cummins engines. A small pickup truck with a stock Cummins engine, the first one I know of, is from China. There's something I wouldn't have seen coming. And then you've got your compelling fun options. Your Land Rover Defenders, or a Land Cruiser Troopy, or even a Mercedes-Benz Unimog. There's a vehicle a lot of people probably haven't heard of, but it's super cool. It's like half tractor, half giant SUV thing. Anyway, they're legal on the street, they're big, they've got portal axles, they have tons of clearance, the good center of gravity. That's not going to mean anything unless I do a whole separate video explaining what that is. But suffice to say, they're really badass. And of all things, they're Mercedes, but they're not luxury, they're just tough. And they're awesome. But they're expensive, they're old, secondhand from the military, and not going to be comfortable. But, oh, I want to buy one bad. So maybe, but it's unlikely. And those are all options that would be pretty cool. And you've got the Defender or the Land Cruiser that would both look awesome in the videos and really make for good intros that really feel like a safari and make you feel cooler out there with them as well. So that's basically those options covered, with the main downside to all of them being you pay a lot of money for an old vehicle with a very limited interior, with very little creature comforts, and just not a lot of, it's not very pleasing to be in, except for soaking up the coolness of that vehicle. So when you're forced to have it all the time, it can get old, like even my beloved 79 series did. So then you've got the weirdos to just say no to. I mean, things like the Mercedes truck they have now, they only just brought their small pickup to market. There's not a lot compelling about it, and it's really overpriced for being a Mercedes. And then I'm just not too into the Isuzu, even though I love the fact they're still making them here, and some of the old Isuzus really spoke to me. And from all accounts, they're supposed to be pretty good vehicles. But that's a pretty big no from me. And then you've also got the Mitsubishis, but their modern ones are pretty nice, the newest, but that's a price premium and something that really doesn't mean much to me either. Then you've even got the weird Volkswagen truck thing they made, which it's kind of neat that Volkswagen has a truck, and they've done cool weird things in the past I've enjoyed, but all in all, modern Volkswagen isn't holding up to what Volkswagen is really supposed to be. You know, Volkswagen meaning people's car. Before they were Like with the Bug, it was a rear-wheel drive vehicle that was easy to work on, you know, was fun to modify and drive and cheap. It was cool, but they've lost a lot of that. They're just an overpriced, you know, German vehicle at this point, and the regular build of that vehicle, it doesn't even have proper four-wheel drive. Well, it kind of does, but some four-wheel drivers would say that it doesn't, because when you put it in four-wheel drive, there's no option for four-wheel low. But one thing that's kind of cool, that like the Defender, I forgot to mention on the Defender, full-time all-wheel drive. So you only use four-wheel drive in a similar way to what you'd use a locking diff for, to really get your tires seated in and out. So it's got some decent technology, but you don't want to worry about technology failing in the middle of nowhere. Then you've got LDV, as well as the Great Wall, but those are both pretty hard-nosed for me. You know, even on the LDV where it's decent, or if it had something else that was compellingly good, I would still have a pretty hard time convincing myself to drive a Chinese vehicle. As a car guy, it's a hard pill to swallow. So those are pretty big no's as well. And then you've got the Nissan Navara, which on the newer ones is kind of interesting, but I test drove an older one of them. Not old even, mind you, like 2012 or something. And it was nicely set up for a good price, but it was just too small. Your knees hit the steering wheel, even with it adjusted as far out of your way as you can get it. Something I just can't put up with, especially as an American used to big vehicles, big trucks, for cheaper than even these small ones are listed for. And then you've got your sensible options and the things that I'm pretty keen on. As much as I'd like to get a Defender, and I'm still I want it, but I think the sensible options to go into, the main one I'm looking at is the Ford Ranger. It's a vehicle you can get in. It doesn't feel overly tiny, even though it is a small truck as far as I'm concerned. It's got some good aggressive styling cues. It's American, which is cool, and it would give me the option to do a cool soundtrack to this, switching vehicles and coming in that American beast, and even do some 4th of July stuff or something. And then you've got the Mazda BT50, which is essentially the same vehicle. It's just rebadged between Ford and Mazda with some tweaks done. Ford and Mazda have a heritage going back in pretty good ways to when I believe they partnered with them when Mazda was helping them break into the small truck market in the US during the oil crisis. Then I could even look at a Nissan Patrol, like I mentioned before. It's a vehicle that'd be pretty comfortable, it would make power, and it would do what I want and be pretty modern. But design-wise, there's nothing exciting about them. It's pretty plain, though there are some very good options for very compelling prices available. Then you could even look at a Chevrolet Colorado. Oh wait, Holden Colorado. They're kind of cool, at least they're standard diesel here. But all in all, they're too boring for me. I'm really not interested. I've looked at them before when I wound up buying my Silverado, and it felt too small. It felt like driving a car. It put a bad taste in my mouth. Not very interested. I'm over here. I'd prefer either have something different that you can't get there, or at least couldn't for a while, or if I can get a good deal on a big beast of an American truck, well, hell yeah, you can bet I'll buy it. I even looked in some serious weird options, like getting an RV, which, how weird that really is. I would love to do an RV, but it's another one of the things that's a hard pill to swallow coming from the States, where you can get basically a luxury apartment on wheels for really cheap from old because people can't keep them around. But looked into it and would like it, but again, it limits where I can go, so I'd have to tow a vehicle behind it for four-wheel drive use. And then I even looked into a Volkswagen bus, like a microbus, one of the old ones, old school 70s, dream car of mine, just drive that around Australia just because I can, right? Or my buddy sent me a listing for a Porsche Cayenne. Those make pretty good power even in the V6 format and can be driven like rally cars. So it'd be really cool to wheel that thing hard on trails. Nobody would expect it, and it'd be just a cool experience. I bet it'd get views too, because I bet it's more capable than it gets credit for. But nobody wants to risk their Porsche. And I've even looked into doing things with other luxury brands that have all-wheel or four-wheel drive, like different BMWs and things. So there is a chance that I may go a weird route like that, but don't count on it. But I do like doing weird things that come out of left field. So now it's just time to road trip down to Brisbane and see what I drag back. Oh yeah, I'm going to Brisbane because the deals are way better down around there. The market has way more competition, more variety, and much cheaper prices. So road trip, here I come. Well, I thought I would be more sad to see her go. We are leaving the area I came to shoot B-roll to take the Land Cruiser down to the shipping yard to actually get rid of her. And I was expecting this to be a bittersweet last moments with it, or even just sad in general. But no, I'm just looking forward to being moved on from this vehicle. Like right now, I'm having to shoot from my hand because I can't even keep a consistent shot on my dash mounted point because this thing vibrates way too much. And I'm sweating because I can't use the air conditioner while filming because it's way too loud. And even when I am using it, it hardly works.
Well, he's officially dropped off.
Apparently
This was to be my last time
So I guess they know who it's going to.
seeing my good old cruiser.
Well, she's gone.
1 week later.
So I'm sure you're wondering what I've picked. I'm kind of surprised myself. It's the Volkswagen Amarok. What did I do? A vehicle that I didn't think I'd be picking, but for a key choice of features available in this unit for a good price, it wound up being a no-brainer. What did I do? Oh, well, I see you're still here. Thank you for watching to and past the end. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you spending it with me. Thanks for watching, and I genuinely hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Anyway, real talk right now, I actually really do need your help here at the beginning, so please smash that subscribe button, do all the things, tell some friends about it if you're willing. That would be awesome. You're absolute legends. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, this is the cameraman. All I wanted is to go fishing, but this car took so long to do some wheelie drifties and do the roly-poly, and the wheel just does not work in these mud conditions. Well, it's been quite hectic. He's on his car right now. It's right there, and I'm hungry. And I want to go fishing. Yeah.